Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 where we tackle the shore of Amon Hen. Hi everyone, so in this video I'll go through and I'll show you some of the production techniques that I use to go from initial reference and sketches all the way through to a physically produced model. Cheers. So we'll take a look at the boats, and I'm currently referencing how many planks of wood there are on the side of the boat. I'm looking at the general shape of everything, the scale and the comparison of things next to each other. So how big the hobbits are compared to the boats, compared to the ruins on the shore there. I'm looking at how wide that boat tapers out at the front. A good shot of the paddle here as well, and the scale of the hobbit inside the boat, which is going to be really important because in this film there are 3 different scales of boats used. So we just need to find a good shot where we can reference that, and we're going to use this one. So this is from Boromir's Death, and we're going to just take this shot into Photoshop. We're going to just rotate it on the horizon because we need that will provide us with some good reference when we go into 3D and start building out this shape. And then we'll just trace around the edge and delete everything that we don't need, so we're just stuck with a really good reference image for us to use. Okay, so here's my reference image in the software. The software I'm using is called Maya. And whenever we start any kind of building, any kind of modeling, we need to find a generic shape that best matches the shape that we're trying to reproduce. In this case, for something like a boat, I'm going to start with a cylinder. Now the cylinder, I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to delete the front and end section as well that's left. So I'm just left with that half cylinder open each end. I'm then going to use something called a lattice, where I can very easily choose different points on the shape. And I can start to take this shape and I can start matching it to our reference image here. So it's going to provide us with a really strong, solid foundational shape that we can then build on. So the shape itself is good here, and then we can go to the bottom as well, and we can start to really pull the boat shape out of the bottom and give us that overall shape that we're looking for. So from the side view, I just took another quick shot, and we're going to just manipulate all these points and edges and vertices, and we're just going to manipulate the shape. So again, it just further matches our image. The more work we can do here to get the silhouette right in the basic shape, the better the result will be, and certainly the closer it will be to our original shot from the film. So I'm just checking out the thickness of all of the edges, and here I'm building out the wood that runs across the front and down the boat, just making sure the shape's correct. You can see here it's starting to take shape. I'm going back in here to make the struts along the inside of the boat as well. And here you can see I'm just manipulating points. And once I've got one side, very quickly, easily duplicate those and bring our boat back in. And we have a really good shape for our boat. And there's a little shot of some decoration on the front there, and I've added that in too. And I've got a little image of Frodo here. So Frodo's 20mm tall, and he's going to be good for scale reference. Here's the paddle done in there as well, and here's a little shot of the backpack work I'm doing because there's a lot of stuff inside the boat when I get in. Again, using the reference image here just to match up any scale. And ZBrush is just a software that I use to add any detail and prepare the shapes and prepare the geometry for printing. Once done, I take it to my slicer program. And fingers crossed we get something decent off the end of it. This is the first pull of the boat, which I was really happy with, really impressed with this printer. And going back, adding high resolution detail to the backpacks. And working in different scales as well, because it's pretty hard to match things off an image and something you hold in your hand. So I do a variety of scales, and I can pick the one that closest matches what I'm looking for. Now there's one piece at the back there. It's pretty prominent in the shots, and they also use it again further up the shot when Boromir is fighting Uruk-hai. It's reused. But the image itself, you can't really tell what it is from here very well. You can't really see the shape, so And this is another shot of it close up, which is a bit more detail. And I take it into Photoshop and I just use a levels filter just to add brightness to it, and so I can really see what it actually looks like, and it gives me a far better, clearer picture of the kind of shape and detail that I need to make. And then it's just into sketching after that. Now, sketching for me is just a way to really push that blueprint of that shape into my mind. So when I'm making it, I have this really close understanding of it because I've gone through and I've studied it a lot, and that's what sketching does for this. Here's my basic shape inside ZBrush, and we'll just use some tools to just age it all back again. It's been sat on the shore for a while, so it's not going to be in very good condition. It's a ruin. It's going to be hit by all kinds of weather. And we're just going to add those details in there. There's some details I could see at the back there, so I've started to just draft those in. And here I'm adding some of those brick surfaces, and I've done a bit of the archway at the bottom from the shot that we saw earlier where Sam was sleeping. And I'll just take these and I'll just start to make some lines and draw this stuff in. And we'll come in and we'll start to add some rough damage to the piece as well, just starting to sculpt around it. The last thing we want is this perfect kind of look to things. You've really got to wage these things. They've got to look right and they've got to look correct. And a little bit more detail as I managed to find in the reference images. And there we go, and that one's done. Got the little one on the ground as well. And then it's off to pull this off the printer, so there we go. Looking pretty good, looking very nice. Now the general ruins along the shore are kind of half columns and bits and pieces, and I'm using ZBrush again. Exactly the same tools and technique as the ruin at the back that we just saw. It's really important for shape language that you try and use the same tools to create the same kind of finish. You know, you want them to be representative of the age and the scale that you're working to. And now we've got this mooring out in the water. So again, just trying to match the detail of the footage, trying to add little dents and dings in as I go, and just giving it the same kind of finish as all the others. Drawing on lots and lots of reference from the books and the film as I go. And there's a little archway top at the back there, another little ruin, so we'll just go ahead and we'll get this detail too. So once we got to the point where we're pretty happy with the level of detail, I went ahead and I printed these. A couple of them failed on this one, unfortunately. These things just happen, but that's okay because the two that remained, they were the perfect scale that I needed. So the other ones were just test ones, so I could make them slightly bigger or smaller, but these ones were perfect, the ones that I got off. And then we'll just give them a quick wash in some IPA, and then we'll put them into the cleaner. This is the process you have to go through when you resin print things. So we'll take them out. They've all got these little supports on, so we'll drop them in some warm water, and the warm water just softens all of the supports down so we can take them off. So they just pull off really easily. There we go, looking good. And there's the little archway. Really picked up some of those finer details too. I'm really happy with it. And once they're all washed in IPA and dried, you then have to UV cure them. And once they're UV cured, a couple of minutes for these, they'll be perfect and ready to go. And this is the result of our work. So I hope you enjoyed this first part. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I'm really happy with the results I've got so far. And yeah, if you're enjoying it, if any feedback for me, please put it in the comments. Otherwise, I hope, like I say, I hope you're enjoying it, and I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.